Welcome back. We're joined now by Roger Lynch, CEO of Sling TV. Roger, thanks for being here.
John, it's a pleasure to be here.
I want to get right into what was kind of, I think, for you, a surprising amount of social buzz in the past few weeks. Sling TV launched a standard guide on some of your platforms, and you rolled it to more of your platforms. Why are people so excited about a guide?
It's really funny that people get so excited about a grid guide, a classic grid guide. It still is a way that people are very comfortable finding the content that they want. And, I think I've been surprised at how popular it was. We've had a lot of requests for it. When we first launched, we didn't have a guide. Actually, that's not even completely true. Up until about 3 weeks before our launch, which was February 2015, we actually had a guide, and it just didn't work very well. So I had them pull it out because it just wasn't really ready. And as we launched and more mainstream customers, when we first launched, what we were mostly getting is young guys who like sports.
Yes.
Now it's families, it's people who are coming from traditional pay TV services, and they like the familiarity of a regular grid guide. And so we listened to the customers and launched it.
Do you think that's due to the non-appointment nature of a lot of the programming that people want? And, I obviously have talked a lot about this. You and I were at a conference where there was a lot of topic coverage of this. With HGTV, for example, the behavior tends to be, I want to watch some HGTV, I want to watch some home stuff, right? Does the guide provide that ability to know what's coming up next? Is that why you think it's the type of content that needs the guide?
I really think a lot of it is just familiarity. People are used to a guide, and it's a simple way to sit back, scroll through the channels. If you think about choosing an on-demand program, right? That's a more considered purchase. What am I going to watch? Whereas a guide, you just sort of flow through, join a program midstream. It's a very comfortable use case that people are used to.
And how are you seeing the usage in terms of the cloud DVR, which you took out of beta, I think, like a month or two ago?
Yeah, a few months ago. It's growing really rapidly. That was our #1 most requested feature. And then after we launched that, our #1 most requested feature became the grid guide.
Right, and then when you think about the platforms that you test on, I think that Roku is where you beta tested the cloud DVR, is that right?
Correct.
And then where did you test the grid guide?
We launched the grid guide first on Android.
Okay.
So went out on Android Mobile and Android TV, and then now we're rolling it out on Roku. It'll roll out quickly.
Is it a technical consideration where you test these products and the sequencing of how you roll them out? Obviously iOS is the most difficult to launch anything on because it has to go through the App Store type approval process. So is it typically Android versus Roku where you test a lot of these?
There's not one versus another. It's a couple of factors. It's, what customer base, because each of them have different segments, is it most appropriate for, but then also, we have development teams that work on all the apps. And one app may be further along than another, and we'll just choose that to be the one that we launch with.
One more product question before we get to the new ad campaign, which is about over-the-air local broadcast. And you launched at CES the Air TV, which pairs with an antenna. Was this a behavior that you saw in the consumer before you integrated it into one box? Were some consumers using an over-the-air antenna and then switching their input and going to a device that had Sling on it?
It's funny, John. I'm thinking back all the way to our launch, and after we announced Sling TV, but before we actually launched it, there was a lot of skepticism about whether people would buy a service without local broadcast channels. And our bet was that people were already using antennas. They'd already figured out how to get those channels for free, and that bet proved right. And so we're seeing that use of antenna in the US has been growing. There's about 25 million households today using an antenna. And when we survey Sling customers, we find out that the majority of them use a digital antenna already. And so Air TV was about integrating that experience. So instead of switching inputs, I have the over-the-air channels next to the Sling channels. I have my Netflix ribbon, all within that Sling homepage UI.
And you did a broadcast from your phone talking to the customer base about 6 months ago, where you said the majority of Sling customers have Netflix. Does that continue to be the case?
It's the vast majority.
Vast majority. Yeah. And then what about Amazon Video? Do you have a sense of that? And do you get this through survey, I assume?
Yeah, we do it through survey, and Amazon Video also scores very, very high for people who have Amazon Prime. The use of it, I don't know. Okay. That's one of the big questions about Amazon Prime Video.
Let's go to the second iteration of the campaign with Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
And this one you've kind of rephrased the marketing as a la carte TV. That's kind of the sloganing around this new campaign.
Right.
What is the message of this campaign? I think it rolls out. The news was broken, I think, in one of the ad trades last night with a version of the commercial. What is the message of this campaign?
This campaign is really about, if you think about all the things in your life that you can be picky about. You go to the coffee shop, you order your coffee exactly how you like it. You want your craft beer the way you want it. You get a car, you want it with the features you want. Then you go to buy TV and it's one size fits all. Here's the big bundle. Traditional pay TV providers have been doing that forever. The new crop of OTT providers that are competing with us have just replicated that model. It's one big package, buy all the channels. And so where Sling really stands out is you can get picky. Mm-hmm. Like, if I don't have kids, I don't need to pay for kids' channels. If I really like sports, I can buy just the sports channels without having to buy 50 other channels that are unrelated to my interests. So our campaign is really to highlight the unique product proposition that Sling has, which is you can get picky about what you watch and what you buy, and you don't have to pay for channels that you don't watch.
Is the OTT consumer kind of loyal to a category in some ways? And you and I were discussing this the other day. When I use your product, I cycle between CNN, Cheddar, CNBC, Bloomberg. I look at the news category, right? Is that a common behavior that people go to a neighborhood and they want to kind of cycle through what all the different voices are saying in that category?
I know it's my behavior also, but you and I are probably both news junkies.
Yes, right.
I think that a more typical behavior is people set their favorites. So within the My TV section of Sling, you can set your favorite channels, your favorite shows, and your recordings, and just live in that area, and then go off to explore sometimes when you want to get more content or you hear about a new show. But it's really designed to be your personalized space and just to access the content you want.
You were the first in the space, and now there's a lot of new entrants in the past, in the past year since we've known each other. Will you maintain the lead through software and interface? Is that where Sling will seek to win? What will be the lever that you use to? Will it be the fact that I think you're the cheapest entry bundle in the market now? I think $20 is basically as cheap as you can get into TV right now. Most people start at $40, $45.
Yeah. It's really all the above. I mean, this is going to be a very, very competitive space, and we need to run fast. As I always tell my team, we're one click away from losing a subscriber. We don't have 2-year contracts or anything. You just go to the website, click cancel, and that's it. So we have to win our customers every single day, and you do that through making sure, first and foremost, that the service works well and it works as expected. Secondly, that the user interface does what it's really meant to do, which is, user interface to me is not some exercise in creating this pretty product. It's to connect users with content and then get out of the way. That's really what it's there for. And if it does a good job on that, then customers are more satisfied. And then obviously the way we price our service, we have the most flexible packaging, which enables us to have a starting point of $20 is a pretty significant competitive advantage.
You're on the board of Roku?
Yes.
What can you tell us about, when I was at CES, I was blown away by the number of TVs that had Roku integration in it. It was, and I think that for a lot of people that were at CES, that was sort of a wake-up moment. What are you seeing? What are you seeing going on with that company today, and why is there so much? Why is there so much Roku usage? Why are the people that are buying these products using them so heavily as compared to, other consumer products people have in their lives?
It's just a very simple product to use. I think they've done an excellent job on, number one, making sure all the content's available on it. So everything's available on Roku. And number two, making it very, very simple for consumers. It's not a complicated, it's back to my point earlier. What's the point of a user interface? Connect the customer with the content and get out of the way. Roku does that exceedingly well.
Last question I'll leave you with. What's the most surprising development that you've seen over the past 6 months? It could be something in content, it could be something in hardware, it could be something in consumption patterns. Is there anything that's caused you to kind of adjust course or reconsider things or call the team in for a huddle that you wouldn't have expected 6 months prior?
We obviously have much more competition now than we had 6 months ago. And I'm sure there'll be more to enter, maybe even this year. And the thing that surprised me the most is it hasn't slowed our business down. In fact, the last 3 months we've had our lowest churn months ever. We've had our lowest cost of acquiring new subscribers. So the business is doing well. And I think really what that is a sign of is that we're really now just seeing the beginning of the acceleration of the shift from traditional pay TV platforms to streaming platforms.
Roger Lynch, CEO of Sling TV, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, John.
We'll be back in just a minute, and Hope talked to the company behind last year's hit Pokemon Go phenomenon at the Apple Developers Conference, where we've been live the past couple days. We'll bring you that next.